Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I'm Randy, and this is a response video for a video thread started by Rob Walker, and Rob Walker Let the Music Play. Rob's from Manchester, and he had a thread about his top 10 smoking albums. And these all deal with, people smoking on the album or someone with a cigarette in their hand. And so I thought, well, I would join in, and it was pretty tough because there's a lot of albums with people smoking. You mentioned that a lot of jazz artists were smokers, and I was going to use some, and then it was hard narrowing it down to just 10 because there's so many albums I could have used. Also, he had used David Bowie, and one that he didn't think was a very good one of David Bowie smoking, but there's a couple others like Young Americans where David Bowie smokes that are nicer, but I had to cut it out, and so here's going to be my 10. The first one is the great blues artist Bobby Blue Bland, and this is Dreamer from 1974. We got the cigarette and the smoke going up here, but this was more of a soul album. He got away from a lot of the blues stuff he did earlier in his career. This is more like a, not Percy Mayfield, Curtis Mayfield album. It's got Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City, which I think has been used in several movies. And I Wouldn't Treat a Dog the Way You Treated Me. I Ain't Gonna Be the First to Cry. And the title track, Cold Day in Hell. Really great soulful album by Bobby Bland. Next I have an early album by John Cougar before he became John Mellencamp. Got the cig in his mouth right there. And on this one has the hit I Need a Lover, which a few months later would be released on a Pat Benatar album as well. But not a bad album, but not one of his best. John Cougar. And the next one is the great soul singer O.V. Wright with his cigarette there and his sunglasses. Cool cat. And very underrated soul artist. This was a later one of his when he was on High with Willie Mitchell producing, and several Willie Mitchell songs on here. He also does The Bottom Line, which I think is a Willie Mitchell song. I Don't Do Windows, kind of a little bit of a risque song. No Easy Way to Say Goodbye. Let's Straighten It Out, which is a Lattimore song. The older Lattimore. I think there was a later person that went by that name too, but this is the guy that just went by Lattimore. Let's Straighten It Out. Great song though. But O.V. Wright, great soul singer, underrated. And now go to a great country artist, and Merle Haggard, lighting up a cigarette there. This is an album full of ballads, and some great ballads as well. Going Where the Lonely Go, Why Am I Drinking, I Left It Up to You. Does I Won't Give Up My Train, which is a really good song too. Shopping for Dresses, which is a wonderful, wonderful song. One of his best, I think. One of his best written. But a great later, I guess you could say later, it came up probably sometime in the 70s or early 80s. Can't see on here, but anyway. Merle Haggard, Going Where the Lonely Go. Next is a hard rock or retro rock group from Sweden called Old Man's Will. The name of the band, really it's mainly one person, but well, with the other people in the band, but Hard Times, Troubled Man, which I think is the second album that was released on Writing Easy Records. It also came with a 7/8 single, which you can see him on there with lighting up a cigarette on that. It's an Old Man's Will and some smoking going on. Next I got the wonderful pop artist Nick Lowe. Nick Lowe and his cowboy outfits, where he explores a little bit of country music. There's a song Half a Boy and Half a Man, Hey Big Mouth, Stand Up and Say That, God's Gift to Women, and he even does the Fair and Young song, Live Fast, Love Hard, Die Young. But wonderful Nick Lowe album, and he's got a cigarette there. He's lighting up. I figure if I'm doing a response video for Rob, I have to work in the jam somehow. So actually, Paul Weller with his group, the Style Council. Cigarette hand right there. Really more of a soulful attitude with Blue Cafe and the wonderful My Ever-Changing Moods. I love that song. The Whole Point of No Return, You're the Best Thing. Some really great soulful, jazzy songs by the Style Council. And that's another classic album by the great Ricky Lee Jones. And has the hit Chucky's in Love and Last Chance Texaco, which got some airplay as well. Easy Money, Danny's All-Star Joint, but kind of a female Tom Waits with a more of a clear voice, I guess you could say, I don't know. But a wonderful Ricky Lee Jones album. And if you're doing a smoking thing, you'd have to have either Dean Martin or Frank Sinatra. They always had a cigarette or a drink in their hand, and this one's no different. In the wee small hours. Great set of ballads by Frank Sinatra. Moody Indigo, Glad to Be Unhappy, Ill Wind, Deep in a Dream, Can't We Be Friends, which is kind of a sad song. Well, most of these songs are pretty sad. In the Wee Small Hours, Frank Sinatra with his cigarette there. Next is the great Mitch Ryder, from Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. And this is like a comeback album that was produced by John Mellencamp, although I guess he was John Cougar then, and actually says the producer on here's a little bastard, but that's John Mellencamp, or John Cougar, John Mellencamp, whatever you want to say his name was. But this was supposed to be his big comeback on a major label, because I think he was on, oh no, this was Riva, but I don't know. I thought it was going to be a major. But anyway, it was supposed to be like his big comeback album. And it's a promo here, but it had kind of a semi-hit on here with When You Were Mine, the Prince song, and he does a great version of that on here. But Mitch Ryder for that one. And actually, I think this is 11. But you got to have John Prine and Sweet Revenge. And one of his great albums, Please Don't Bury Me in the Cold, Cold Ground. I'd rather have you cut me up and pass me all around. Sweet Revenge, Dear Abby. A lot of humor on this one. Often as a word I seldom use. Grandpa Was a Carpenter. Great lyrical album with some great lyrics and just the wonderful artist of John Prine. And that's actually, I think, 11, but I need to mention also that there was the Katie Lang album, Drag. Doesn't actually have a cigarette on there, but all the songs on there are about smoking, which is kind of a unique thing. Anyway, that's my my list, and hope you enjoyed it. Hope everyone subscribes to Rob's channel. I'm sure if you've subscribed to mine, you're already subscribed to him. But have a good day, and don't smoke.